In Monster Hobbies Model Car Mechanics. My name, of course, is Trevor Slescu, owner of Monster Hobbies in High River, Alberta, Canada. This address doesn't exist anymore, but we are still on the internet at www.monster-hobbies.ca, and you can always phone us at 403-652-5019. Our website is in Canadian dollars. We ship worldwide. We use PayPal and a secure pay credit card system where if you bought something at our website and used your credit card, all that information gets destroyed at the end of the transaction so that none of your personal credit card financial information can be tracked, through our website. So we offer free shipping on Canadian orders over $75. And if you use the promo code YouTube at the checkout, you can save 10% off your next purchase. So sorry I got a bit late today. I decided what I wanted to do was dust my model cars first before I show them, because usually I end up trying to dust them in front of the camera, and all that dust goes right up my nose. It's pretty choking. So, well, just like that. So I hope everybody is having a good Wednesday today. I know we're getting back into January, so I assume a lot of people are heading off to work again. We had quite a long Christmas holiday, as it were, and they actually gave our kids an extra week off over the beginning of January because of the Omicron variant, and Alberta doesn't want more people in the hospital, so they decided to give everybody an extra week off, which I don't know if that was quite a help or not, because it kind of threw me off the schedule of getting my store going. So today's topic is going to be model car kits from the 1930s. So I've lined up all my built models going from 1930 to 1939. And what's sort of interesting about this time period is there's a lot of cars from the 30s, but they're primarily Fords, which is quite interesting, and Fords from AMT, because back in the day, AMT had a lot of hot rod kits and whatnot, and they made a lot of Fords. The other company that made a lot was Monogram and, of course, Revell, because those were hot rodding and custom car topics of the era. So nice to see everyone starting to come into the meeting here. The meeting of the minds of the Monster Hobbies mechanics. So to begin 1930, I have two cars. One of them you've already seen before. So I'm going to show you the one you haven't seen yet, and then show you the one you have seen. Now, both of these cars are monogram kits. So I'll just bring this up under the camera. So the first one, like I said, there's a lot of Fords. And I got this really nice 1930 Ford Model A. This one is a monogram kit. And I painted this one to match one that my uncle had built. I discussed this before. He had a die-cast Hubli kit, and he painted it red with this black top and fender arrangement. So I painted mine like that. Now, if you were to buy this one, it would be a green color, which is kind of sick. But one thing I did with this is I added in side windows with a little bit of, I don't think it was evergreen clear styrene, but something similar to that effect. This one's rolled all the way up, and the driver's side one is half rolled down. So that was something I added in. This is a nice model kit because it's got the rumble seat in the back, which folds open. Now the black inside here, that's the plastic black. I thought it looked nice enough that I didn't need to paint over it. Then, of course, our hood comes up very carefully here. And I added some bare metal foil around the cowling. But there's our Model A engine, and I used pink for spark plugs. Now, it's interesting today. Today, I actually got a haircut. How does that look? Yeah. Anyway, now, in High River right now, a lot of the small businesses are having to move into smaller areas. I personally had to close my brick and mortar store down because with all this crazy, pandemic stuff going around and whatnot, it's very hard to try to keep a business going. Hey, 1964 is in the house. It's hard to keep a rental place going when, I created Monster Hobbies to be sort of the town community spot to go to. for people that built models and played war games and everything else. So with closing the store down, of course, I'm in a smaller, well, I'm at home and I'm doing all this online. And with the help and support of great people like 1964 BC, they're helping me keep it going. At any rate, so the same thing happened with the barber. And see, like I got a haircut here. So she has moved. She used to have a big area with like 5 other people cutting hair in there, and she had to close that down. And she ended up moving in at the car museum in town. He's got this little corner that she cuts hair at. So when my wife and I were in there this morning, they have a Model T center door, about a 1911 or 12. I didn't really look at the placard, but it's a brass radiator one. And they had one side of the hood up. I think the dust is getting me. So they had one side of the sorry, they had one side of the hood up on this Model T, and the spark plugs, they have they're they're kind of crude how they're done. So Ford used really big spark plugs, and then they've got a wire that comes down. The top of the spark plug unscrews, and actually, even modern spark plugs they still unscrew at the top. So this one unscrews, but it's got the big bolts on the top, right? And the wire comes down, and then it's got one of those brass or brass or copper ends that fits the end of the wire, and then it's squashed flat with a hole in it. So they put that on the spark plug, and then they wind the bolt down, and then it goes up on the firewall to 4 spots. So each cylinder has a spot on the firewall where the wire is coming out. But in the Model A, as you can see, they started to make a distributor and mounted it on the engine block. So that's what we have here with this car. This is a really nice kit if you ever get one. The only downside is the wheels. The wheels have like like most monograms, you push the wheel on until it goes click on the axle. So what happened with mine is this is like how the actual wheel that comes with the kit looks like. But these ones here are from the AMT Model A. And what happened is I was painting these and I had a piece of styrene and I glued it to the inside of the wheel and glued it to the back of the other wheel. And I had them all separate and I painted them with the red. Then when I went to pull the rod out, it kind of broke inside and left a big glue spot in the wheels. So I couldn't use the stock wheels. So I ended up taking a set out of a 29 Model A from AMT and I put them on instead. I cut the pins off the axles and carefully glued them into position. And it looks right. You wouldn't really know. In fact, I think the AMT Model A wheels look more authentic than what Monogram was trying to do there. So ended up looking quite nice in the end. And again, I applied that bare metal foil strip on there. Oh, and another thing, I painted flat black just around on the cowl. That's where, I guess, what would that be? Sort of like a weather stripping, I guess, would be on the real car. So there it is. Now, Rod Ragus was actually asking me what my most recent model car was, and I couldn't quite remember, but I do remember what it was. It was the Laurel and Hardy Model T truck. That was the most recent one. And even that's about 4 or 5 years old now. So this one I showed last week, and I'm actually doing another model build on this. This is, of course, the Monogram 1930 Packard. And as you can see, I built this as a kid, and I got that center brace kind of twisted on there. Overall, this is not a bad kit. I won't get too far into it. The Packard straight 8 in there. And you get your options of different tops. The reason why I won't get too in this is because I just did it in the previous video on luxury cars. So again, another really great kit. This is, of course, one of the ones that was blueprinted from the Packards at Harrah's Auto Museum in Reno, Nevada. I actually went there when I was young. I got photographs of that somewhere. Good old 35mm photographs. But yeah. So join me on Saturday because in our model, oh, not this Saturday though. I'll get to that in a minute. But in our model car club build, I'm working on that Packard. And of course, another one that I did was the Pierce Arrow. Oh, I didn't do this. I bought this one, but I reviewed it in my luxury car video because there's 3 luxury cars back in the 30s: Packard, Pierce Arrow, and Peerless. And this one is the Pierce Arrow. Nope, it's a Peerless. Sorry. The only model I'm missing then is the Pierce Arrow. This is die cast about maybe one. Does it say underneath here? No, but it's about 1/29th, 1/30th. It's not even 1/32. It's just like this oddball scale they came up with. But the door is open on it. No engine in there. Posable front wheels. Okay, so I'll just put this off the side here. So I will not be at the group build. Oh yeah, 1964 is saying that he loves the cars from the 20s and 30s. They are quite nice. The only thing that I kind of find odd about them is just trying to figure out how they worked. Because if you look at some of these, the dashboards have so many gauges on them and everything, whereas the earlier cars, they only would have maybe one gauge if you're lucky. So trying to figure out what some of those levers and things were all for. But anyway, so this weekend is a scout camp. It's a winter camp. I'm a scout leader, what they used to call leaders, but they now call them scouters. And then, of course, scouts. The scouts are the young kids, and the scouters are the older one. You know, like it's really weird. You know, we used to call them leaders, but I guess that's not cool to say leader anymore. Whatever. Hey, Michael Cook is here. Hi, Michael. How you doing? Thank you for tuning in to the Dusty Show. But this time it's not dusty. This time I dusted my models before I turned the camera on. Anyway, so my daughters and I are in the scout group, and they're doing a winter camp. And we just had our re-registration, so we had to pay for everything to get the kids in. So I figure let's get the kids doing something, because the problem is we have one car. My wife works at fast food, so they're constantly calling her in. And of course, she's a good worker. So if someone else is sick, they're like, "Oh, let's phone Trevor's wife." You know. So this Saturday, I thought, okay, well, I'll drop her off at work. Oh yeah, it's going to be busy. So my one daughter's going to band camp, and she's got a bottle drive coming up on the same day as a scout camp, and it's my wife's birthday, and that's on the I can't say when, but they're moving it to the Saturday for the family thing after she gets off at work at 5. So 9 o'clock is bottle drive. From 10 to 3 is the scout camp. And then from 5 to whatever, I got to get my wife and go to her birthday thing. So that's one big solid booked day right there. It's going to be crazy. So unfortunately, that means that's when the build party is. So maybe I could do the build party on Sunday instead of Saturday. I'll figure it out. If not, there's always next week. But it's really interesting. I've been watching a few YouTube videos, and I watch these people that say, "Here's how to grow your YouTube channel." Well, all of a sudden they're saying, "Don't do live streams because that screws up the Google algorithm or the YouTube algorithm, and then YouTube doesn't know how to rank your channel." It's like, really? Whatever. Darn the torpedoes, full steam ahead. Yeah, the blinds. I know that's a pain, Ray. There's a bigger pain. Here, I don't know if I can do this. This is the problem. So I've got my hobby shop because I had to close the brick and mortar store. Uh, I had to relocate all the stuff from the hobby shop into my house. So if you can, maybe you can't see. Anyway, we had Magic the Gathering cards, And they're all in binders. I'm not going to pull one because I could topple everything. So they're all in binders, and the binders are going about 4 or 5 feet into where that window is, which means I got to unpack half the house or half this room to get to the window to put the blinds over it. So I haven't got enough courage to do that yet. But anyway, okay. All I can really do is just maybe this. There. Except now you see this ugly Ego box in my door, but well, unless I do this, I don't know. I need a studio. That's what I need. And with your support over on Patreon, we can make that happen. But at any rate, okay, so let's get on with the cars here. So now, like I said, there's a lot of AMT kits. Yeah, I could paint the window black too. Just hope that doesn't alert the police. I figure something weird's going on in here. Anyway, yeah. Okay, so model cars. That's what we came for. So here is the AMT 1932 Ford Coupe. And this one is very nice again. So this is one that I built again when I was young. And it actually looks like one of my early spray paint jobs. I can see orange peel up this side door here on my side. So the wheels are the factory plastic. And then this is Tester's wood color. I must have sprayed it through my airbrush. Yeah, I think that's what's going on here. So long ago. And then I painted on that stripe, which is another wood color. Or, no, maybe it's the brown, 1168 or something. Whatever that color was. Unfortunately, the rumble seat doesn't open here. Yeah, on camera it does look good, thanks. There is one weird thing about it. And I don't know if the camera will pick this up. Nope. So the fender on here is glossy. But on this one, there's something got on there. I don't know if it was paint thinner or whatever, but it took the sheen right off on this strip right in here. And it rolls down into the front. So I don't know quite what happened there, but at any rate, most people build this as a hot rod. So this is how it looks stock. I didn't pull down any of my hot rods because they were all up there. I might do a different live stream on that. There's the flathead V8 motor, which was brand new for 1932. And one thing I noticed about this kit, the body's not attached. So that's kind of nice because now that I've got the, you can't see where it is. Now that I got the wax there, I noticed this was loose too. But, okay, I'm not going to try to pull the radiator out. But at least I can get on. Oh, yeah, maybe you can see that there. Yeah, see, it's like a cloudy haze right there. Right on the front. And on this side, that haze is not there. So maybe that wax will cut the top layer of this haze off of here and make it all glossy. I've been finding some really good results with that wax. Just gotta kind of be careful with it. I redid my broken 29 Model A, the Woody, and it came out looking like I just painted it yesterday. And that paint was put on at least a good 30 years ago. So crazy where time goes, isn't it? It just seems like I built these yesterday. And all of a sudden it's like, no, that was 1992. Oh yeah, somebody posted a meme and it said, 1970. If you go back to 1919 and you go from 1970 to 2021, it's the same time distance from 1919 to 1970, from 1970 to 2022. Yeah, 2022. And it's 51 years. So if you were born in 1970, you're 51. That means if you're born before that, you know, you wonder where the time went. Just say the owner. Okay, I'm not going to repeat that, Michael. But yeah, somebody could look, I guess. So here's the other AMT kit. This is based on the 32 Ford series that they have. This is the Phaeton, Phaeton, no, Phaeton, I guess. But as you can see, I used the white wall paint on here to get white walls on it. I glued the top on, so unfortunately I can't show inside. But it's got the gray interior. That's supposed to be the, I think it was tweed, is what they called it. The removable hood again with that same V8. Now, two of these models were based on the Vicky, and one of them was based. Oh wait, the Phaeton and the Vicky are the same model, just different body and whatnot. And then the 32 Roadster that I just showed, or the Coupe, it's based on a different car again. And then the next one I can show you is yet again based on another car. So, but overall, these models, for their vintage and everything, they still turn out really well. They're easy to build and nice to display. Just a little bit of maybe the radiator could have been glued back just a little tiny bit, just to make that gap in the hood a little tighter, you know. Another thing about the Phaeton is on later models, there's quite a gap in between the interior tub walls and the outer walls of the Phaeton. So I built a hot rod of that, and I got docked because of that gap. But if you want to put clear glass in there, it's a perfect spot for it, just to fill the gap up. Okay, so here's the other 32 Ford from AMT again. This is the Roadster. I don't ever recall having the hard top on here, the up top. So it just came with the folded down boot. This one is nice that it has the opening rumble seat in it. Yeah, painted this green and white interior. And it also has this is the only one that has the luggage rack in the back. All the other ones have the spare tire. And I wish I could get another one of these. This one is known as the Model B because the earlier Ford was a Model A, just in 28, 29, 30, and 31. I think there's still the Model A. And then this was the Model B. The Model B has the four-cylinder from the Model A inside there, as you can see. And the other ones have the V8. So this one is kind of unique. It's the only one that is the Model B. And it's also the only Trophy Series kit that came with a Hemi. And sadly, I lost the Hemi because I was going to do it in that engine series that I had, and where I was building all the engines, and I couldn't find the Hemi from this. So it's long gone. And AMT has not re-released this, so where do you get another Hemi? But again, I guess this one is kind of based off the Roadster now that I look at it, because it's got the same sort of one-piece body pan underneath. So yeah, that's where it came from. Looks like it. Note the big crack in the oil pan. I don't know how that occurred, but this thing would never hold oil with something like that. Oh, and I used masking tape because I drilled the little holes in here because it's supposed to be a handrail, and on this side of the fender you see the little step there, and one on the back by the luggage rack. So somebody stands there, and then they stand there, they grab the handrail, and then they go inside the rumble seat. And I think I drilled the hole too big or something, and then I covered it with masking tape and painted over the top because I didn't know about body filler back then. But it was funny. My uncle, of course, my dad, my uncles, and that they grew up as teenagers in the 50s, right? So my uncle was saying the rumble seats are great if you've got the coupe, with the top fold down because the people in the back can talk to the people in the front. It says the rumble seat is not good. It's not good when you got this going on. Because he says that the one or two people in the back, all they can see is the back window of this. So he never liked to ride in people's hot rods with the rumble seat and the coupe top. He liked the convertible. So that was his story on the whole thing. My dad also told me that he knew these two friends that had, I don't think they were 32s, but I think they were 29 Fords, something like that. And they used to swap the hoods. So, like, you get a different color on the other guy's car or whatever. That was their hot rodding, pull the hood off. I don't know. Sounds kind of lame. And here's the other 32 Ford. This is the Victoria, or the Vicky. And it had the special body where the back came out like that. And again, this one's got the spare tire. This is also sharing the Phaeton's undercarriage, because this is, again, different. The difference primarily here is the exhaust pipe is a separate piece, as well as, what else was there? Let's see, where's the coupe? Oh yeah, the rear axle is all separate on the Phaeton style, whereas on the coupe it's molded in. Same with the exhaust, and I do believe the battery is separate. I can't quite remember. I've got all the instructions downstairs. But yeah, that's the difference between the two. But I did this one in black because remember the Wacky Racers, right? The old cartoon. There was another one that had Penelope Pitstop on her own with the gangster guys, and they had the car. And I always remember the car being sort of like a black, like 4-door or something like that. This is always sort of the little mafia type car. So I painted this one up to kind of resemble that, and then added in the red wheels. I think what would finish this off is painting that molding along here with red to tie it to the wheels. I think that would look pretty sharp. And again, this is another one where, yeah, where the body is ready to come off of here. I don't know why the bodies came off on these. I guess I never glued them in. And again, there's that nice V8. Now, one issue that I noticed here is the radiator hoses. The way I've built this, they don't touch that radiator at all. They're quite spaced away. Now, I think this might have been just because I was a kid and didn't quite know how to line that radiator up in there. But on other Vickies that I've made, it does work. I do believe. I don't know. But yet, look at how tight the hood is. So I don't quite understand what happened with the hoses in this. Anyway, unsolved mysteries. On tonight's unsolved mystery, try to solve the case of why the heck did this not work? Well, I got a wobble in that wheel too. Look at that. Interesting. I think it was. Oh, hey, we've got our first weird spammy email here. So, or whatever. So let's put this person in a timeout, just like a kid. There we go. Have fun playing with your Lego. Anyway, yeah. So the Vicky. Oh, there was another weird thing. Came out of RC2. Oh no, not RC2. Yes, RC2 actually. Get it confused with round 2 sometimes because RC2, round 2, they're both got 2. They both start with R. Now round 2, they came in and they bought AMT and the AMT world, I guess, AMT universe. So AMT, MPC. I think Polar Lights was in that deal. Round 2 came in, bought them up in the early or mid 90s, turned the whole thing into a die-cast only kind of deal, and then sort of sloughed out model cars just because there was still sales going for them. And one of the things they did is they sent all the molds to China, and they told them down there at the factory, clean up all the molds, get rid of all the welds and everything, and then run the kits again. And on the 29 Model A, that actually worked out really well. So if you can find that model, it's in the typical round 2 box where they showed the photograph of the real car on the front. It's a yellow Model A coupe, but inside they gave you all the parts for a la carte. And they weren't supposed to do that. They were all welded up, the channels. And when they told the guys in China to clean up the molds, they took out the die grinder and opened up all the channels. So that kit was the only model car kit I ever got where you opened the lid and the plastic on it was like right up to the top edge of that box. It was so packed in there. That's a great kit. If you ever find one on eBay, look for it because you get a free a la carte. But I guess they corrected that later on. I think round 2, you get the free a la carte now. But I just remember that was like the big mistake miracle. But what they did, RC2 did, is they released the the Phaeton. The original ones that they released of that had the Vicky interior, the tub inside it by mistake. And then people complained about it. So round 2 went back in there and found that they had opened up the wrong one and put the Victoria or the Phaeton one back in. So one of my friends had a spare busted up Vicky and he gave me the body for that. So I was able to use the body and the goofed up interior on the Phaeton. So I've got a spare Phaeton back body. But anyway, yeah, this would make a nice diorama. I need to do a 30s street scene. It's one thing I want to do. Okay, so that takes us out of 1932 for AMT. So we go to another year of the 30s. Oh, wait. With again AMT. So now we head into 1934. And most of you will probably have one of these versions of this kit because AMT just re-released it under round 2. This, of course, is the 1934 truck. And this one is a Lindbergh one because for the longest time, Lindbergh had... Okay, AMT created the molds in the 60s. Lindbergh somehow ended up with them. In the 90s, Lindbergh re-released this with that high-impact yellow plastic, which is what these wheels are. And then after that, round 2 bought the molds back off when they bought Lindbergh. Well, they didn't buy the molds, but they bought Lindbergh, and the molds came with that deal. So they just slapped the AMT logo back on it and pumped it out again. But Lindbergh had made up this whole stake bed truck and into that kit because AMT had the tow truck with the winch. So I managed to get this one, which I can't get the brush down the middle. And I did this up as the Loss arc welding, which was an AMT decal, but this one I hand lettered and did the lightning bolt. The lightning bolt, I made a, what do you call that thing? Just lost my thought there. You know, you draw this and then you cut it out of paper and you put it on there and then you brush on it. And then you got the pattern for the other side. Whatever they call it. A stencil. Made a stencil for the lightning bolt and then I hand lettered Loss in there and built it that way. Used a brown interior for the leather seat. This is all trim-clad spray paint. It's more recent. And the hood does open on this, but again, this is the tightest hood to ever take off in all of the AMT cars ever. Even my dad has this one that he built back in the 70s and painted his red. It's a pickup truck, not the stake bed. Even on that one, this hood is so tight on the one side. It doesn't help to sand it either. Just wants to be tight in there. So we just, oh, come on. Just don't want to crush the thing, you know. I need that little screwdriver I got downstairs. Oh, forget it. Okay, anyway, you'll have to take my word for this. There's the V8 under there. Now that Ford V8 was the one that Bonnie and Clyde liked because it had a lot of horsepower and they were able to outrun the law with the thing. Well, until they got couldn't outrun the law anymore. But yeah, if you ever watch that old movie, you'll know what happened. Yeah, so there it is. Nice in all its glory. This was always a good kit to build. Yeah, just make sure that's all together. Then underneath, highly detailed again, all the separate individual parts. And you can build this as stock, custom, or I don't know, for drag racing. Oh, I got something cool to show you. Just a minute here. Let's see if it's in this nice pile of paper. Just briefly, hopefully, it's in this pile of paper. See, this is where it pays to rehearse. Where are you? Might not be here. Doesn't look like it. Oh, I know where it is. It's in the box. Oh well. I can show you something though. So it's not a total waste. So just stepping back a little bit to 1932. These are original instructions that a customer gave me of the first run of the model kit. In a nice big box. I got tons of them, even instructions for cars they don't make anymore. There's the 3 different versions of the 32 Ford, and that would be this one. So, of course, up top, there's stock, right? Oh, careful there. Can't turn my hand around that way. There's custom. And you'll notice it's got the little bobbed fenders in the front, and then some lake pipes and the decals on there. There we go. They're all quite different, right? And then there's your the other competition coupe. So that would be drag racing. Oh, this is a street rod. Okay, so street rod and drag racing. So it's really cool to look at these early instructions just to see the different components they had originally. And it's really weird why some of this stuff got dropped, which is unfortunate. I guess somebody wanted to modernize it in the 70s and get rid of that 50s, 60s look to these things. But there's stuff like full moon hubcaps in the original run of this that just have never come back. You know, other real goodies in there. But overall, it's still the same kit. You know, there's the fenders and the motor going together and all that. And then on the back, they would show you all the little components. Oh, we got another person needs a timeout here. Okay, hang on. There we go. So yeah, there's all the components and stuff that you got. Look at this hood. So you don't get that in the new ones. It's got a hole and it's all curved out, so it's just coming down the center and the top. And then your little bicycle style fenders up there. You still get the lake pipes. And then here's all the other kits that were available back in 61 or whenever this came out. I don't think they put a year on here, but I mean, look at the Buicks and everything. Mercury's, Lincoln. This is the stuff that dreams are made out of. I don't know. I know a lot of people would like those. And I know on eBay, some of those things are going for a good couple $100. And then I got the other one there. There's the Sport Roadster. Now it's interesting that they call it Sport Roadster here, but then in other instructions, it's Model B. So there's that one there. And then your street rod. And look at the grill in there has the checkerboard pattern with the kind of the early devil face or whatever it was on there. Then the flames. See, full moon hubcaps. In my version, I never got any of those. And then there's your competition coupe, and there's that big Hemi sitting in there. This is, again, the stuff that dreams are made of. And there we got the street rod and the Model A engine in there, the big Chrysler Hemi. I think that's, what was that, not the 380, but the earlier one, so 50s one. Can't quite think of the size. 348, 351, something, some number like that. But there it is with the luggage rack and the little down boot and all that. And then if you look at the back, wait, is there anything more there? That's another thing that I've noticed that aren't in the kits anymore are the trailer hitch bits. They were in the 40 Ford and everything else, but I can't seem to find any in the new re-releases of these. So again, one of those oddball things. Don't know why you pulled them up. The AMT blocked off that part. There's the back. Again, it's got the bicycle fenders on there. So yeah, lots of cool stuff. And then our cars again. And this time around, it's got different stuff, but there's like the 61 or 63, I think it was, Ford F100. That'll be another kit to get. In this stuff that the guy gave me, I've actually got a hood for that, but nothing else. So let me know if anyone needs a hood. Hey, Peter is here all the way from England. Hiya, Trevor. I've got the cutaway hood and fenders in yellow styrene, but no other parts at all. Yeah, kind of like me with that Ford hood. Should make a trade. If anyone needs a, maybe it's a 59 Ford F-150. I don't know, it's somewhere in that ballpark. Okay, well, I hope everyone's enjoying the show because now we're going to continue on with 1934. Should be doing a station identification break. I missed the half-hour mark. This was one, again, that AMT came out with in the 90s. I think this was a fresh kit that they came out with. Yeah, so I recall. I should have painted this gray. It's becoming yellow yuck over the years. I know a lot of people want this one. They made this one and they made the coupe and then they made a hot rod coupe. And it hasn't come out yet. It hasn't come out since, I should say, which is unfortunate because 1934 seems to be one of those years in the 30s that these model cars are like really an empty spot. 33, 35, 34. Okay, so it's sort of like there's 1930, barely, 31 kind of, 32 definitely. Everything seems to be a 32 because there's also the Chrysler. 33, hardly anything at all. Maybe you're 1933 if you're like an Auburn or something, maybe. I don't know. Oh, the Willys Type 77, 1933. But that's only hot rod, right? Not stock. And then 34, there's like just a few Fords. Let me think about that. I think there's only 3. Oh, 35, there's 2 Fords for monogram. The pickup truck and the bubblegum one, the panel van. And then for 35, there's nothing. Or I don't know what I'm saying anymore. I'm thinking the Ford. There's no 35 Ford, but there's a 36 and a 37. And there's no 38s. Oh, wait. The pickup trucks are 38s, not 34s. I don't know. It's sort of here's a bunch, there's nothing the next year, then there's a bunch again, then there's nothing, then there's a bunch, then there's nothing. That's sort of how the 30s go for the model cars. It's really unique. I wish I would stop doing that stuff. So anyway, there it is. One thing that broke off here is there was a little jumping Greyhound just on top of the cap there. But again, really nice model kit by AMT. There's our Ford V8 again. This was a retool. And a very nice one. It's got the upper radiator tank on there, which extends outwards so that the hoses can hit it, unlike the 32 Vicky for whatever reason. But I did have to chisel out under the hood. Right there, you can really see how rough that is. And a little bit on that radiator tank where there's no paint, just in order for that hood to come down perfectly. So I don't know if that was a flaw of the kit or just something I didn't understand because I was young when I built this. It looks like the sides here are actually Yeah, they're separate, like the 36 Ford. But again, pretty nice. Now, one thing I wanted to do is do a group build. If you look at the community tab section on this YouTube channel, you see that I did put down cars of the 30s. Unfortunately, though, it only got like a small amount of votes, and hot rods and customs and whatever else I put there, it got the most. So, sorry, I'm just looking to see what's next. So, looks like we might do a hot rods as a group build. I found a place where there's some sort of group build instructions, as it were, so that I can figure out what we're doing for rules, for the group build, just so everyone's sort of on the same page. One thing I'd like to do is on my group build, because most of these are like progression video kind of things, right? That's sort of how these YouTube group builds work. I want you in your video to put hashtag something or other. It could be whatever this group build's going to be. I'm going to just request that everybody put in a hashtag with that name. Because what hashtags do, you put them in your description of your video. So in that box, and YouTube will recognize the hashtag, and then it takes it and it puts it right up underneath. So like, let's say this is my video. You know how like right down here, it'll say, Monster Hobbies, channel name Monster Hobbies, and then underneath it's got these blue sentences with the hashtag in front, which is number 3, the number sign, that's on the number 3 button on your keyboard. So what happens is, let's say I got the hashtag Monster Hobbies, right? So let's say that's the hashtag, which it won't be because that's too silly. That's the hashtag. So what happens is you put that in your description. So you'll say, this is my 22 Model T, hashtag Monster Hobbies. So it takes the hashtag part out and it puts it up right there underneath the channel name. And then what happens is if you take your mouse over, it'll turn the hashtag blue. And you take your mouse and you click on the hashtag, YouTube opens up a whole new page for you to see. And every video that has that hashtag the thumbnail is all in there. So I don't know how many of you are doing that on my videos. So if you see something that says hashtag AMT model car, just one day click there just for fun. And it'll take you to a page where it's all my unboxings of AMT only cars. Or if you click on one that says hashtag Ford model cars, for example, it'll only show you all the Fords I've ever done. So that could be like a Revell 1 AMT monogram. So the hashtags work really nicely. So I want to put those in my group build when we do that. When, if, and how. Although maybe I'm getting afraid to build a model because it doesn't seem like I actually get any time or any whatever to do it. And even if I do a model, I'm not really sure how do I film building, because I don't have the high-speed film advance where it's like, hang on, don't want to break anything, where I'm like this, and I'm going to do this, and you see my hands going like this, and then like a hobby knife comes out, and then like a drill's going, whatever, right? And then over top, I'm voicing over, and by moving my hands this fast, I'm actually building this model, and here's the instructions that I'm looking at, and then, oh, here's the model. I don't have that on my video editor. I'm using Windows Movie Maker, which is garbage and a half, and I'm giving it the best I can do. I've probably gone way beyond anybody's experience in Windows Movie Maker, just because it's all I have. I have had better ones in the past, and the computer blew up, or it erased itself, or the motherboard fried, or whatever. So I'm stuck with the old computer using that. So I don't have that zippity-doo-dah thing. I don't use acrylics and whatnot, so I can't get a model built in a weekend like HPI Guy can. I'm also not under a deadline like HPI Guy is, so thank goodness for that. But it's almost like, A, how do I film this? B, we got to wait 3 months for paint to dry because I use enamels. C, I can't really do a voiceover or whatever, So I find it really mentally frustrating to figure out how I'm going to build a model. But there is one thing I'm thinking of trying, and this is from A4 Model Garage, I think, channel. He's out of Korea. So what he does is he films himself building a model and doesn't share that with the public at all until the model is absolutely 100% finished. Then at the beginning of his video, he'll show a couple of pictures of the car built. And then the next thing it goes, okay, step 1, I opened up the box. Step 2, I did whatever. Step 3, whatever. And then he only goes so far and then he stops. And then he films the next part of it. Yeah, he releases the next part of it. But at the beginning of all the videos, he still shows a complete, fully built model. So I think that could be my only way to do it, because then I can take 18 months to build something and then release it as a series of a few videos. But anyway, so I keep flashing this thing in front of the camera. This, of course, is AMT's 1936 Ford Roadster. This is the 5-window. There's 2 versions of this. One is the 3-window and the other is the 5. Now, the 3-window is the original one that came out in the 60s. The 5-window is a modification of that one. And I don't think they really retooled much on it. No. What they did was I thought they did something with the cowl, but they didn't. So, well, let's leave that off. So what they did is they made a new top. Oh yeah. 15 minutes of progress after each model exhibit. Oh, there's nothing wrong with that filming format. I'm just saying, like, instead of my channel having a whole series of little tiny videos, like unboxing is something different, right? Because I'm giving you a full video in that time frame. The building is a different thing. So, like, I don't know. I kind of want to do what those Hot Wheel restoration guys do and all that sort of stuff, where they give you the complete packaged video, signed, sealed, delivered from start to finish, instead of little segments going on forever. But I mean, there's like a million ways you can film a model build, I guess. Just got to find the one that's right for me. For me. Anyway, getting back to this. So what they did was they lengthened the body just a little, or no, the top here. They lengthened this out a little bit so you could drop in the special 5-window top. And that's the difference between this one and the convertible. And the reason why they didn't mold this as a solid piece is because on the 3-window, you had a choice of the coupe top, or you could build it as a Roadster. And this part where it's cut out was the interchange point. So if you built it as a Roadster, you got this U-shaped piece, pardon me, that glued up in here. And then there was a boot or a convertible back top thing folded down. And oh yeah, it also came folded up as well that you could put in there. Or you could just glue on the 3-window top. The only thing that makes this kit difficult is you can't really glue the body on and then push the interior bucket up. Not the body, the top. You can't glue the top on to the bottom part and then push the interior up, because the interior wants to crack this and push it off again. So you have to build the two as separate, or paint the two as separate components, put your interior in, and then drop the top on. And you always have this crack line that goes up here and kicks up there. Kind of a pain. But yeah, you're welcome, Peter, on the hashtag explanation. I don't think many people really understand how YouTube does the hashtag thing. So to explain, like, okay, where is it? Where does it go? How do you get it in the first place? And why does YouTube put it there? So YouTube has this thing where you can only put in 3 hashtags per video. Actually, you can put in more. You can put in more hashtags per video, but it'll only display 3 underneath. And then again, it's like, okay, well, even if you put them in, what does it do? So it took me quite a bit of research to find out how it all works. So you put in the 3 hashtags, and then it'll create pages based on the hashtag. what else about it? Yeah, that's about it, really. It's simple once you figure it out, but getting to that stage, it's complicated. So this one I used Tamiya acrylic blue, and the dust is stuck in this thing. And to wax it makes it worse because then the wax goes inside it and ends up, yeah. I know a lot of people use the Tamiya paint, and there's nothing wrong with that, but I just find for whatever reason with me, it just becomes this dust sponge that sucks in every molecule and makes it grow out of the paint like hair. And then when you wax it, it just takes the wax and goes, thank you. And then leaves this white ghost layer that never comes out. I'm annoyed with it. Yes, but that does mean it's a half-hour program at least. I've been sawing one of those into little pieces, 36 Ford. I still have a little idea what this phone can do. Oh, okay. I'm trying to digest what you're saying. Yeah, Peter uses a phone for his YouTube stuff, and that's a different realm. I've got a PC computer, so there's different things again on phones, but I don't know. You'll have to experiment there, Peter. See if you can put a hashtag into one of your existing videos via your phone. Because again, it's only in the description box, so it couldn't be too hard. And then see if it works. See if it takes thing. Because I find with my PC, they said, oh, if you want to make a YouTube short video, which is like the newest thing, just take your camera and tilt it so that it instead of getting the screen this way, you're getting the screen in the tall format. So I tried that and I uploaded a video onto YouTube and it's like, haha, that's not a short. And it won't put it on my short shelf. And I don't have a cell phone to make other shorts. So I guess I can't cheat the system on shorts. But anyway, there's my 37 Chevy. Get away from the Fords for 5 minutes and you get the Chevy. And there we got our bare metal foil striping on there. This was another nice kit. Again, came from the early days of AMT because kids in the 60s wanted something more to hot rod than just Fords. Now, I don't have the top glued in place because there is an up top, and the up top is clear, made out of clear plastic. So you can easily mask off the rear window and then spray paint it with flat black, peel off the masking, and there's your window. Very nice kit, goes together really well. There's a couple of little kind of like holes, not really, where the roll cage for the custom goes in. You can see the interior with the pedals and shifters coming off the floor. There's a little bit of a funny gap on one side of the hood, just right there. You can see it. Whereas on this side, not really. And there's the Chevy 6-cylinder underneath there. There we go. Let the camera focus in on that. Again, another great little kit. So my hand doesn't bend that way. I built this out of the box without any spark plugs. That's okay, Peter. I don't know. For someone living in English, can we forgive his bad English? England. Anyway, I'm just joking. There is one thing I did here is I put in this triangular piece of styrene underneath because the hood is molded in two pieces, which is a seam line right up the dead center. So there's nothing really to, glue that together to. So I made a filler plug. And I also think I put in a strip of sheet styrene rod or something in the center here just to put that hood hinge in because I think I sanded it off. But anyway, there it is. Yeah, no, I know what it is, Peter. You're texting with the one hand on the little cell phone, and that LCD display is so tiny with a little teeny keyboard, so it becomes kind of annoying. Now, I don't have a cell phone, but my kids and my wife do, so it's not like I haven't played with the thing. Anyway, so that's our 37 Chevy. So we got a 36 Ford, 37 Chevy. Next up, It's a 39 Ford from AMT. This one's sort of a cheater kit in a weird way, because you can build this as a 39 or a 40 or a 40 standard or a 40 deluxe. And it's really like, if you look up these Fords, 39 and 40, and to some respects 38, because this would be a top of the end 39 Ford, and the low class 39 Ford is a 38 Ford that was the high class from the year before, the deluxe. So this would be a 39 deluxe, but the 39 standard looks like the 38 Ford deluxe. And I do believe the 38 Ford standard looks like the 37. It's something like that, right? So this one you could either cheat it as being the standard 40 Ford or the deluxe 39. And what really gives it away is the chevrons on the back of the fenders. That's a 40 with the 39 grill. But when I was a kid, I didn't realize that that's how this worked. Because the instructions do show it, but I don't think I quite understood it. I just put in what I liked to look at the best. 39 grill, 40 taillights. You can get this one still. They just re-released it as the 40. Comes with the gasser components. It's also got the Oldsmobile block under there. I built mine with the flathead. This one does meet the radiator. This is a really nice flathead too, if you build these up. One of my favorites. And I've got the chrome drop axle in the front. Peter says he's got a fork in the other hand, texting with a fork and all that. Been there, done that. Like the cowboys of old. They used to, my grandpa, he was a farmer before he became a house builder and everything. And he used to, they would ride out with the horses and stuff. This is in Canada about 19 early. And they would ride out on horseback, and he could take the tobacco pouch out on horseback, take out his tobacco pouch, take out the papers, pull it all open with his teeth and lay out the tobacco in there, and then hand roll the cigarette while putting the pouch away with the other hand, and then lighting a match to smoke his cigarette, right? Well, Peter is the same here, except he's using one hand to text while he's using the other to eat with the fork, right? So he's like this, just like in the days of yore. He just needs to be on horseback, and he's got it. So anyway, all right, being cheeky. And now here's a culmination of two kits. This is the fenders from the AMT 39 sedan with the 40 Ford Businessman Coupe body, which all fits into place. My dad and I built this together when I was a kid, and you had to cut some of the interior away just to get this to fit in. Oh, Peter's blazing saddles. He's even eating beans. Oh, I'm glad I'm not in England right now. Oh, man. Anyway, so there's the 40 Ford. And one thing, I was trying to make a rainbow series out of these cars. I think I showed this before. But there's green. I've got yellow. Then there's a blue one. Red. And purple. The only one I haven't made is orange. So, but anyway, this is a sort of a kit bash. This is one that I want to make a YouTube video on, how to kit bash your 40 Ford into a 39 Businessman Coupe. Of course, all mine have the dropped axle on here, which is hot rod. It's got the nose and the weeds. And again, I'm using those 40 chevrons. The 39, in case you're wondering, they're oval shape. So yeah, that's a big issue. And another thing I noticed, there's a gap right along this fender, right in here, where it meets the body. So there's usually a cross brace underneath here. and I think it just needs to be sawed by a 16th of a millimeter and then glued back together, and that would suck in the fenders in tight against the body like it should be. But yeah, overall, again, this is another one of those AMT kits that's really nice. You get your choice of building it stock, custom, or street rod, drag race, whatever. So yeah, so today's video is brought to you by the numbers 1, 6, and the letter C. No, actually, I've run out of thing here. I thought I might have more time. So my name is Trevor Slescu, owner of Monster Hobbies in online. This address no longer applies because we had to close the store down. But you can always reach us at www.monster-hobbies.ca. Phone number is still the same, 403-652-5019. I am a seller of many model car kits. You can check out our website. I'll just put a link in here right now. Here. There we go. And you click on there. Now we've got a website where we sell model cars. Our prices are in Canadian dollars. We can ship anywhere in the world, even to Peter in England there. Hint, hint. No, anyway. But we can ship there. We offer free shipping on all Canadian orders over $75. And we accept PayPal and credit cards. We use a secure pay system on our shopping cart. And that means that if you use your credit card information, at the end of the transaction, it's all eliminated. No one can access it. We're not selling it to anybody. It's just the transaction is between me and you. And I've changed our About Us so that you can read what our store policies are, which is very nice. I got my website from another business guy, was a customer of mine, and he was saying that my rewritten thing really does explain a lot. Same with my friend James. He got to see it, so he thought it was good. Anyway, so you use the promo code YouTube, just like that. And that allows you to save 10% off your next purchase. And you can sign up for our free newsletter over here, which I'm trying to get out every 2 weeks, which has, of course, store updates and other great things, tips and tech, and all the rest. And incidentally, speaking of my website, the guy that gave it to me said that I should be doing blogs. Now, I'm not much of a blogger, but I have written up all these descriptions in every one of my model kit unboxing videos. So, I mean, I might as well use that information to make my blog. Maybe throw a few pictures in there. I don't know. Anyway, the other thing is a lot of you are tuning in every Saturday, which is nice, for our Monster Hobbies group build project. And now I was doing the 77 Ford, the van, but we've been having some pretty crummy weather. And I got to a painting stage in that. And we can't paint because it's like minus 31 degrees Celsius and all the rest. So now it's finally warmed up, but we're getting wind. So Peter might be able to relate to this, eating beans. No, not that kind of wind. But anyway, we're getting like this crazy 90 kilometer an hour hurricane type winds and stuff. We get that out here in the prairies. So again, you can't paint because you'll be holding the model here, right? And then you spray your hand distance away, right? Well, your spray paint goes, and then it's hitting the house. Boom, 30 feet away from the wind blowing all the particles everywhere. And you've got nothing on your model. So that never helps. Or the wind is blowing your paint down. I've had that happen too. You're spraying here, expecting it to come straight out this way, and it goes underneath. So you're spraying like that far away from the model, and the wind, you can see your paint being blown out at like this wicked angle. So I try not to paint in the wind. But anyway, so I had to switch up the 77 Ford because it's in a painting stage and I can't paint it. So I started to work on a new 1930 Packard. So I'm going to build it the reverse. Orange fenders, black body. It looks cool. Cool, man. Anyway, I would be doing that this Saturday, but our kids are in scouts, and there is a winter scout camp going from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. on Saturday. No, James, I don't have an airbrush. I gave that to my dad. It's sitting back in BC. I found that the thing jammed up too much, and every time you cleaned it, it was like tough to get the rubber seals and all that stuff back in perfect position. So I gave that to my dad. I'm also painting outside because I don't have a house with any way to hook up a proper spray booth or any of that stuff. So, and I use enamel paint, so all that stuff just stinks up the house. But at any rate, that's my dilemma. So yeah. What else? Oh yeah. So this scout camp, it's a winter one, and I think my kids need the winter skills. It's like setting up a shelter in the snow and cooking your meal in the snow and all that with wet matches, and that kind of stuff, right? How to survive that way. So I think, yeah, my kids need to know that. So unfortunately, the time for that is sandwiched right in between the build party. And then directly following that, we've got to go because it's my wife's birthday this week, but we're celebrating it with the in-laws on Saturday. So I'm really like layer caked right into the whole day. I'm going to be burned out in a miserable shaking wreck at like 7 o'clock at night. No, it should be good. I just hope I won't be sitting there with soaking wet feet because my boots leak. Yeah, they're in that worn out stage. And then we got the snow came down. Oh well. Thus is life. Okay, so what I might do is I might do the group build on Sunday instead, but it all depends. I'm starting to find I'm getting a bit tired of trying to do the YouTube video thing, but I don't know. I think maybe it's like post-Christmas blah. Nothing is happening. Sales are kind of non-existent, and bills are always existent. So it's like, yeah, man. Do I want to do anything? I want to go back on Christmas holiday. No, I don't know. And I've got so much to put on the website too. I can't really afford to get new stock, but I've got so much stuff that's not even on there. It's mind-boggling. That, of course, is at www.monster-hobbies.ca. Yeah, not getting notifications when I'm live. This is a really weird thing. I don't know what's going on with notifications and stuff. All I can say is make sure you click the bell icon. Apart from that, I have no clue. Even on Facebook, my sister got mad at me because I missed her birthday. Now, this is ridiculous. I've got 8,000 people that follow me on Facebook. And every single one of these people, even people like that just follow the Monster Hobbies page, I don't know these people if I saw them on the street, right? I get birthday notification. It's so-and-so's birthday. Here comes another birthday and da-da-da-da-da. Guess what? Didn't do my sister. Did not get a notification from my sister. Your sister's birthday is coming up. Now, I do have a calendar where I've got everyone's birthdays, but it's a paper one, and it's like over there, right? Because we use it for our bills. So I made up a calendar, and it's got like the day my wife gets paid, the day the bills are due, and all that. So we're always on time with our budget, right? So it's got everyone's birthday on here. And of course, with see what happens at the end of New Year. The kids go back to school on January 3rd. But this year, the Omicron variant was out. So Alberta, the province, the PM and everybody, it may have even been Canada wide. They said, oh, let's just have everybody, since it's Christmas break, everybody all the kids stay an extra week until we can figure out if that will decrease the Omicron variant. So then the kids were home an extra week. Well, my sister's birthday came across when they were all at home. And usually my wife and I would go out and start paying bills. Well, we didn't because we had this extra week. So, of course, I missed my sister's birthday, and YouTube never notified me that it was her birthday coming up. So I got an angry thing. You forgot me. It's like, after all these years, you should know when my birthday is. Well, we got busy with all this other stuff. So anyway, so I never got notified there. And now Rod Rages is saying he didn't get notified about the live stream. So I don't know what's going on with this stuff. I think YouTube and Facebook, they figure, oh, these people aren't interested in this anymore, even though you are. You've never missed one, and they just drop you off somehow. Crazy. So anyway, after a few hours, I've got that fixed up with my sister. All because of Zuckerberg. Anyway, I don't know. Well, there you go. So I guess that's about it for this shorter live stream. I didn't get too much stuff out here. Unless everybody wants to see me do this again. Probably not. I don't know. Yeah, if I had got the hot rods out, I probably could have squeezed another hour in here. I don't know. Everything on this side. See, I've got 2 bookcases. I got 3 to display my model cars. Yeah, algorithms. Good old algorithms. Get on the right side, you're doing well. Get on the wrong side, you won't get noticed ever. Man. Crazy. Oh, hey, one thing that I've found kind of interesting. So on my YouTube, it's not really my channel. Kind of is, kind of isn't. I signed up for this thing called TubeBuddy, which is like this. TubeBuddy, see down there. So what TubeBuddy does is it's a free program, or you could pay for it if you want. They got a free element, and then as you pay, more features, right? So TubeBuddy has a thing for keywords, and you can test your keywords to see how they rank, and it makes sure you don't miss anything, so that you can get caught by the algorithm, seen by the algorithm and all that. But if you go onto other people's videos just to watch them, TubeBuddy opens up this thing on the side of everybody's videos, including your own, and it tells you their SEO ranking, how it's ranking on YouTube algorithm searches, what keywords they use down below, if how many likes their videos got from Facebook and from Reddit, and Al Gore, algorithms. His new album out now on Decca. Makes a great gift too. Remember at the end of Spinal Tap, if you saw that movie, they had that kind of bogus rock video. And then it was a bogus commercial for the Spinal Tap album. And at the end, the one guy turns and he says, makes a great gift too. Anyway, so TubeBuddy, it'll show other people's videos and how they rank and where their standings are. So I was looking at the Lucas C channel, and Lucas C has 4 Japanese keywords in all of his videos. And his videos he's got like so many subscribers and everything else, but he's got these 4 Japanese ones in there. So I was thinking, so like, how would a Japanese keyword on my YouTube video, would it help me out or not? So I saw what his 4 Japanese keywords are, and 2 of them don't really rank really well, but the other 2 are semi-decent. So with a little copy and paste magic, I took the 2 ones that were good to semi-good, or great, or whatever. I took those 2, and I translated them, and it was just basically like building a model car, but translated into Japanese with the Google Translator. And I found the Google Translate has actually become better than what it was maybe like 6 or 8 months ago. It's actually starting to translate this thing with like only 1 or 2 errors, as opposed to when it originally translated everything and really got everything messed up. And same with closed captioning. I noticed on the closed caption because on one of my videos, I was watching my own video and the closed caption thing came up. And because it was a premiere on one of the premieres of my unboxings, the closed caption thing came up for whatever reason. And everything I said, it translated it perfectly with the exception of two things that it screwed up, which is really good because when I did this about 4 years ago, if you mumble a little bit, it thinks it's a different word. If you say it with a bit of an accent, it thinks it's something else. It'll break things into two words when it was supposed to be one. It was terrible. Now it's getting it perfect. Even if you mumble or stutter or whatever, it will put it in perfectly. It only goofed twice. So that's the technology coming up. But anyway, so these two Japanese keywords, I'm taking out some from some of the videos that didn't work right. I've done everything from 1978 on my unboxings. I just put the two in there. So I'm going to see if that actually helps it out, or if I can open up to a Japanese audience. I don't know. But none of his things are in Japanese, but yet he's got the Japanese keywords. Who knows? Maybe he's onto something. Maybe you could put a German keyword in there. Like, yeah. Just about to say a model car building in German and then wasn't sure if I got that right. Modellenbiel. Yeah, that's Danish. Modelbiel. Anyway, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, it might be a way to tap into non-English speaking people. But I know there's like a huge model building scene going on in Japan. So maybe if I can tap into that, it might work. I don't know. Who knows? The algorithm knows. Do you sell just car bodies? No. I don't know. What car body are you looking for? Anything in specific? In particular and specific? Maybe I got something. I don't like. I've been in model car clubs, and every now and again, somebody will come in and they'll have a big box of, junk. And when I was in the hobby shop, people would donate built models that somebody either didn't want anymore or whatever. A cab for Catzilla. Catzilla. Is that like a construction bulldozer thing? Or is that like some kind of monster truck you're coming up with? Operators are standing by. Man. Yeah, I don't know what I got. God, the whole place is a mess from moving all this store stuff in. A new build. So cab, like a big rig, or like a 29 Model A, or like what are we talking about here? I don't have any Peterbilt type stuff. Peterbilt. Him Peter's typing here. Yes, nothing Peterbilt out of England. No, Peter built the trucking company. Oh man, it's getting too comical. Yeah, no, 70S C10, Chevy 10s. No, nothing in the Chevy 10s. Yeah, I'll have to take a look at these junk boxes. But everything since we moved the store into the house is just all over. I might have a tea bucket something or other. Yeah, maybe. I'll have to take a look. I know somewhere I've got a Munster's coach that's all munched up, but I'm saving that for, you know what I'm saving it for? I've got a model kit of the Thomas Flyer that's that was somebody's build, where they painted some of it and the rest is gray plastic, which is turned like this into that, worn out yellow gray. You can't see it on here. Dang it. That worn out yellow gray kind of color. Johnny Hacksaw strikes again. Anyway, so the Thomas Flyer is an interesting car because it lasted for a short period of automotive history from about, what was it, 1907, I think it is, to 1911, somewhere in that ballpark. And it was a quite advanced car for its era, but they were all these big luxury coach type of vehicles, right? Stuff with six wheels and the elaborate double dip fenders and the big coach bodies with like three doors that open up everywhere and all this really super fancy rich guys of that era type cars, and they were built in the States. And so they had this race back in the day because when cars first came out, their whole thing was how much road torture can this car take, and the car that can take the most road torture is the best one for you to buy for your family. So they would do these races where they would race across countries and all this stuff. Endurance races is what they called them. And how far can the motor go before it breaks down? Well, the whatever car, the Durac and these sort of French cars and stuff could go 60,000 miles before the motor blew up. This kind of stuff, right? That's what they used to do back in the day. Quite a lot of racing in that way. So the Thomas Flyer, the Thomas Company was building all these luxurious limousine kind of things, and they wanted to enter this race. So they took one of their limousines and they stripped it all down and built like the cowl and firewall. They made it out of plywood and covered it with canvas, and then they had all these extra spare tires mounted up on the sides and things because this was going out in the Arizona desert and all this. So they raced from New York to Paris, and I think it was something like, instead of going this way across the Atlantic, they went that way across like Russia and everything, and got something in the Pacific and came across and landed on California, and then went from California all the way out to New York, something crazy like that. So the model kit, AMT made a model kit of the Thomas Flyer because the Thomas Flyer won the race in 1908. And then I think by 1911, they went out of business. But anyway, there's a lot of the Thomas cars are still around in museums. For whatever reason, they were spared the World War I melt down every car kind of thing. And for the steel, for the war effort, they survived those, and they survived the same thing in World War II again. And I know there was one out in BC somewhere, but these things are huge, big fenders and all the rest. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to take the Thomas Flyer race car that I got, because my dad has one, and then he built one as an oval track race car without any of the cross country stuff on it. So I want to build one that's stock, and it's very hard to find those elaborate coach bodies. You have to make your own, and of course they've got doors that come straight down and then kick in, and then that's from the front view, and then from the side view they do this kind of they're all like complex complicated curves that only a railway engineer can figure out. So, and then in one of those junk boxes from one of the car clubs, there was a Munster's coach body with nothing else in there sitting in the box. So I thought, there you go. Peter knows what this is about. Vladivostok to Paris. Reading about the race recently. Yeah, it's in the instructions too. So what I want to try to do is take this Munster's coach body and see if I can reconfigure it into a new body for the Thomas Flyer, or as a body for the Beverly Hillbillies Oldsmobile car, which is another one that is interesting. The Beverly Hillbillies truck is based off of a model, or I was about to say Model T. It's based off of an Oldsmobile. And what George Barris created that for the TV show. And it says that what he did is he took an Oldsmobile touring car and cut it up and turned it into the Beverly Hillbillies pickup truck, which is crazy because he didn't have to do that. That pickup truck already existed as a 1918 Oldsmobile, but the one he used was a hacked up 22. So if you want to build the Olds into a touring car, that Munster's coach that's all smushed up makes a good body. Because again, you just gotta, the coach has sort of a Phaeton body, but then right in the middle it's got that roof thing that comes up. Well, you just cut the roof thing off there. Or if you want to build it as like a touring car, I think you take where that thing comes up, you take sheet styrene and extend it out to the back and then taper in the back and then cut a whole series of windows in there. But yeah, a lot of those old vintage bodies are not just a simple straightforward thing. They got a lot of complex curves and things in them. They got like roof liners that dip down like this and stuff, like braided curtains, and that's all steel, right? All this real elaborate coach building stuff. So I got to figure out how to do that. I'm trying to look at other people's YouTube videos. There seems to be sort of 5 or 10 people that I watch normally, and then there's all my Monster Hobbies mechanic guys that I try to watch when I can. But then there's like this group of model builders that make YouTube videos that are beyond anything. They're that higher echelon, right? So they'll take something like this and say, "Oh, everything's crap in here except for the front bench seat." Okay, I'll just use the bench seat out of the kit and I'll fabricate the whole thing out of aluminum cans. And wow, it does look better than this at the end. And you're sitting there going, mind blown. How the hell did you do that? Like this A4 model car thing. He built his own engine block by taking flat sheets of styrene and cutting them to the right shape. And on he goes, carving this and that with a hobby knife and a file and the whole deal. And it ends up looking like the real motor. So I've been watching that guy a bit. And he'll actually make his own hinges out of pop cans that look like the real, proper hinge. And I went to the museum because I got a haircut. And the barber is in the museum now because everybody's businesses are all over the place. And they got 2 Model Ts in there. So I was looking at the motor, and I also looked at the hinges on the Model T. And where those bodies, the hinges at the tops of the doors, they only come out about that big, that far, that big. But the body doesn't go straight down like that. It curls underneath. So at the bottom of the door, the hinge actually comes out like that. So the top is only that much and the bottom is there. But the pins line up because the door is sweeping in this way, but the pin is over here. So at the top, it's narrow and the pin's there. So, that 40 Ford delivery van, the one in this series, that's the one I'm going to paint orange. But it's got the door at the back and the door is molded separately, open. So you got 2 choices. One is to glue the door in the hole, but then you can't see because it's got the plank that comes out, and then underneath there's a little step, and inside that step there's a little piece of plastic that glues in with a tire. It looks like the Firestone tire on. Oh, there goes the hood. Looks like the Firestone tire, but it's sitting straight out like that, and you can only see about that much of the tread between my fingers there. There's that little piece, and it sits underneath of the floor and the bottom part of the fender in that van, the 40 Ford panel van. Where are you? Come here. So the idea is when you open that back door, you can see the tire underneath, and that's what you want to see. But AMT never gave you any hinges for that back door. So I guess you're supposed to glue it sticking straight out so you can't close the door. So anyway, looking at that Model T thing, the hinges are like that. And then there's, hold on. Yeah. Oh, here. This is nice. Bear with me. Technical difficulties. So the hinges are like this, and the barrel part is up at the top with a pin going through it. So when you open the door, that rotates out like that on the barrel pin. So now the trick is, how do you make that hinge in this scale when you can see that these hinges, okay, wait, maybe on the yellow. Yeah, there you go. That little thing there is that hinge, sticks outside of the car. So this little hinge on the real car, there's a top there and a top there on one hinge, and then the other hinge has a center section, just like on your doors, like that. Let's see here. Geometry. That's the kind of hinge, more or less, that is this hinge. Okay, so how do you duplicate this, knowing that this thing is so tiny right there in 1/25th scale, so that this door opens the way that that door opens, and not like when the guys are doing, they make, you can watch like how to make hinges videos, and they take a paper clip, and the guy says, oh yeah, you just cut it off here, right? And then you bend this one out this way, and you bend that one the other way, or something like, or some angle, and then you're supposed to glue one end of this loop. They're going this way. Okay, so one end of that loop is glued into a tube that's just hiding in behind here, and then the other part is sticking into another tube that's hiding in there. And when you open the door, this big loop thing comes out like a big swinging arm, like, and like this. Hang on, I've got one here. Yeah. So, can the camera catch that? That, people will make that and put them in the side doors, which there's nothing wrong with that if, that's how you can think about it. All I'm saying is that this is not really how the real door opens. The real door opens like that door, with the barrel and the pin in the center, and swinging out on the center of that pin. So where this thing is more accurate, that loop there, where it's really more accurate is in the trunk lids of this kind of thing, right up along here, because that loop curve, the hinge will be back here somewhere, and then the loop hangs here. Let's see if I can do this. The loop's sitting like that, right? So when you open this trunk lid, oh wait, there's a crack. So yeah, it's sort of like that, right? So when you open up the trunk lid, this loop is supposed to go up in here, kind of like that, so that this trunk lid sticks straight up. That's where the loops are, is in the trunk lids, and also can be under the hood on certain things. But for these doors, they're like that. So the trick is, how do you make those when they're no more than a millimeter high? That's the trick. So let's see, Peter's writing some stuff here. It is on the 34 Fords also. To make the hinges line up, I've been having hinge nightmares recently. A4 is really good. The ones I made for my 37 chop Ford panel van, they were hard to make, the four of them, 8 parts and 4 pins. Yeah, because there's 2, right? One at the top, one at the bottom. I think the best place to start this is Model T Ford, because only one door opened. on the coupe, Model T Ford Coupe. Only one door opens, the passenger door. The driver's side is just an imprint of a door, because if you open that door, you're right into the handbrake, I think it is, and the pedals and some other stuff. So they never made that door open because they figured, you can't swing your legs across the parking brake thing sticking straight up and all the rest. So they only had the passenger side door open. So if you ever want to try experimenting with those hinges, just cut the one door open on the Model T and try them on that door first, because you only need to make two, and if you mess up, well, it's not so bad. But if you've got like a four door and you're trying to do it all the way around, yeah, good luck. But yeah, just trying to get them into that scale, because you're talking like thinner than that center pin is almost thinner than a human hair. So, well, there's another way you can do it. And my dad had this on the Monogram 34 or 1930 Ford Woody, and it was almost like there was a disc that came out the side, little one, and then another disc that sat on the top. And now these two discs are now sitting outside of that door. One of them has a pin, a short pin in it, and the other has a hole. So I think the pin is sticking on the bottom, and then the hole is on the top. So then it's just these two little things like that, and then the door post glues on one of it, and then the door itself glues on the other. And that's all it is, just two discs, one with a pin and one without. And they just slip on the two discs that way, instead of trying to do like this, and drill a hole down the center of that situation. It was just like this with, no, wait, it would be like this. Then this is going to the body, and this one's going to the door, and they just go on there to give you the same thing as if it's like that. So I don't know, it's a thing, right? Peter saying hinging the glove box flap on my Elco was fun too. I've done the ashtrays. Yeah, see, Peter, I need you here. Show how to do this complicated stuff. I don't know. Oh well. But one thing that I did find that A4 has, he's got photo etch saws. I found a set. It was from somebody that was somebody gave me, those big cabinets with the little plastic drawers? Somebody gave me that, and it was full of World War II, 1/72nd scale World War II stuff. Airplanes, figures, military, right? But down in the bottom, he had some of his old tools in there and photo etch saws. So I'll be trying those. But yeah, a lot of neat things. Geez, okay, I've almost stretched this to 2 hours just talking about hinges and how to build stuff. But yeah, definitely that Model T one was longer at the bottom. So the Ford panel van, I'm thinking the same thing, only in reverse. The one at the top needs to be longer because the back of the body cab comes across and fattens out like the Vicky. Where'd you go? Not so extreme as the Vicky, where it come down and then come out like that. Just a little more, streamlined, right? But the same thing. A short hinge on the bottom because there's not much traverse sticking out here, but a long one at the top because you need the center of your door. See, the body can be sloped this way, but your door needs to be this way, perfectly straight up and down. Where's that camera? So you got the bottom hinge very close to the back end, but you can see the distance at the top from the roof to where the pencil is. So you need the long hinge coming out here to connect this way. Let's see how well can I balance everything. So let's say that paper clip is the hinge at the top. So now like that. That's what I'm talking about. So that top hinge, there, can you see that? You can see yellow box there. Top hinge has to be there, and the bottom one is almost right close to the bottom. So when that door opens, it's pivoting straight up vertical onto the back. So, I mean, you need something to get you out there. And then once you're out there, you need something to operate as a hinge. So that's sort of where my head is on that. So that's another good one to start with, is try to make the hinge for that panel van. Yeah. You're saying about the hinge there, Peter, in the bottom comment? The absolutely correct. I think you are. But yeah, that's what I saw at the museum today. I also got my wife to take a picture or two of the firewall on that Model T so that when I do spark plugs on one in the future, I can line it up. Which is interesting because the way the spark plugs are on the Model T, they go to the firewall. There's 4 spark plugs in the engine block and 4 points sticking out of the firewall like this. And each wire goes from the firewall to there. So there's not really a distributor like the modern one where it's on a circle, right? And then your points, well, they don't use points and condensers anymore, but electronic ignition, I guess it's a computer thing now. I don't know. Let's go back to 1970 so we know what we're talking about. Okay, so you got a distributor with points and condensers, and there's a center thing, and then there's one on the top that gives you all the power from your coil. And then there's a little thing like this underneath that spins around, hits all the points and condensers, and it's the aperture or whatever scrubs the top across the top. Well, wait, there's your wires going in, right? So as this thing spins around, it goes zap, 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 and that makes the spark happen in your cylinder heads with the spark plugs down below. Well, the Ford doesn't have the perfectly circular rotating thing, the Model T. It's got 4 pegs sticking out on the backside of the firewall. So it'd be interesting to see the mechanism in behind all that. But apparently it's providing the sparks through that box. Yeah, hinge alignment. Start your hinge using strip. Drill it and shape it. Yeah, in A4, he cuts a very thin strip of aluminum, and then how did he do it? He bent it over. So here, it's got a thin strip of aluminum, bent it over like this. This got a sticky on the back. So he takes this aluminum, he bent it over like this, only his is a little more square. So now he's got his, oh wait, let's try to make this a little more square in here. Do a double bend. Okay, so he's got his hinge like this. Or his strip of aluminum, pardon me. It's got a strip of aluminum like that. Whoops. Okay. And then he got another piece of aluminum and he cut it a strip. And he cut it like this, and he cut a little angle on it. Like that. Then he put that in between this. So this little strip here went into it was doing the Mini Cooper. So it went into that hinge thing on the Mini Cooper because they've got that funny latch that's triangular shape, right? So he took the little thing and he wedged it out and he put it into one of those. And then on the bottom one, he took the aluminum, bent it like that. And then with the pin inside, he lined up the whole thing. So he's got the pin inside the aluminum strip. Then he took his drill, drilled right down through that. I don't want to stab my finger. So I know what James is thinking. So he went like that. Okay, there. I didn't stab my finger. And then he put the piece of wire in. just like this. Keep in mind this is smaller than what you can see normally. Mine's exaggerated. And then once the wire was in, the wire acted like the pin, and there he had it. And that's how he did his hinges, using aluminum strip and a pin. However, I think this wire, as small as I have it, unfortunately, is the exact same diameter. Actually, it's bigger than the hinges on this thing. So I guess the only way to have the opening doors is to have slightly exaggerated out of scale hinges, at least for me. Unless I can find a wire that's so small. Problem is, do I have the drill bit to match that? Because I do have a set of them. Okay. But this thing got dropped and a lot of them fell out. And then some of them got broken. I think one of them is still stuck in a model somewhere. So I don't have much of the really tiny ones anymore. And I don't know where I got this from. A dollar store, I think. My dad has the other one back in BC, and I'm going to inherit that thing and hope that his drills are good in there. So anyway, oh man. Peter saying, yes, bend round rod and pinch it tight. He's going to do a video later, and he'll do a couple, so don't fear doing it. Don't fear the Reaper. My smallest drill bit is 0.30 millimeters. I don't know what these are anymore because that's the other problem. They got switched around in there too. So what I do is I find a wire and then I get a strip of plastic and I drill holes until the wire goes in tight. That's how I figure out what's the right one. I'm hopeless. Oh, man. Anyway. So we got 8 minutes left for 2 hours of a video. The other thing that would be nice is to make the piano hinges. And they use the piano hinges down the center of those hoods and on these edges. Piano hinge. So when they opened up the hoods back in the day, they triple folded. So you grab it on the side of the car and then you open up this way. So it folds this one inward, like this way. But the one in the middle of the hood, it folds it the other way so that the whole thing leafs up like a cabinet. So you got your hood there. So the bottom one comes in this way as the top one comes up this way. So then there's your hood side on the one thing, right? So that would be interesting to do. But again, piano hinge that tiny. Well, you're looking at, I guess, dollhouse stuff. If they even have one that tiny. We're talking nanobot technology now. Yeah, nano hinges. But still, if Peter can do it, I can do it. I just have to go do it. Ah, man. Okay. No, station identification break. So my name's Trevor Slescu, owner of Monster Hobbies online. This address doesn't count anymore. You can find us at www.monster-hobbies.ca. You can still phone the store, 403-652-5019. Here's the official phone right here. Operators are standing by, which is me. Our website is priced in Canadian dollars. We ship special deal in Canada. Orders over $75 is free shipping. We can ship all the way around the world, even to Peter out in England and Rod Regis down in Texas. Anywhere Canada Post goes, we can go. We accept PayPal and credit card on our secure pay system. Any information you give us through your credit card gets deleted once the transaction gets processed on our system. And you can use the coupon code YouTube at the checkout to save 10% off of your next purchase with us. And I definitely need to get some more stock, but I do have some interesting model cars, as you will see over there. Sign up for our free online newsletter, which is on this side of the page. And every 2 weeks, I try to get a newsletter out to you. So, what else can I say to my monster hobbies mechanics out there? I don't know. What's Peter saying? I often do the same with wire and drills, except really small bits, which I keep safe. Piano hinges on my 37 Ford panel. Nice. Little teeny piano hinge. What do you call them out in England? The fiddly bits? Man. Or the headache, the nightmare inducing. My wife started calling. I was trying to take the Revell Lincoln Futura model kit car, and as you may or may not know, this model came out in the 50s, so the molding technology was not quite as good as it became later on. In the 50s, they still hadn't figured out how to make one car body out of one mold. So they used to make one car body out of several pieces, and you glued the pieces together to make the car body, and then you mounted it on the frame. So I had this Lincoln Futura, and I wanted to make it more accurate to what the real Futura would have had. So the AMT Edsel kit came out, the new one, right? Not the old screw bottom 50s one, but the new one. And so that had a fully detailed undercarriage and everything. So I cut the undercarriage to fit underneath the Lincoln. And then I ran into the problem of the interior was now hitting the transmission hump of the frame from the Edsel and all this other stuff. And it started to get to the point where I couldn't build this thing anymore. So my wife nicknamed it the Sweary Car, the swearing car, because every time I work on it, I'd swear or cuss or whatever you want to call it. So that's what she called the thing. And I still haven't finished it because I wanted to have you opened up the hood and could see the V8 motor in there, right? The Edsel V8. Just never materialized. Still down there. But there's two cars that are really weird like that. The Lincoln Futura and the Pontiac Club Demur. The Club Demur has the chassis pan comes out and then half of it rolls up and then you glue the body to the other half instead of making it like side panels that came down. So again, you got to take those kits and saw them into more pieces than they ever were molded in and then reassemble them as if you're building the modern kit with the sides that go right to the bottom. Complicated. They have nice figures in there. But of course, I bought mine secondhand and the figures are all glued together slightly off shift. So you got somebody's face that's perfect. And then they've got like a big step out here and there's the rest of their head going around the back. I can't cut them apart because they glue bombed it together. It's like, oh man, come on. Oh well. I have to buy them all over again and start from scratch. So I guess that wraps up our show of model cars from the 30s, which was in the first hour of our show. And the second hour was how to make the hinges and other complex dilemmas. So with all that over, I guess I should move my mouse now here to the end stream button. Thanks to everyone for showing up and coming out. We had, I think, a maximum of 7 people. So that's always good. And of course, people watching for a good couple hours builds up my my YouTube watch time. So thank you again for that. Thanks to everyone for coming out. We will see you next time. And now I got to go down and make Friday's unboxing video because I'm behind. So until next time, thanks again, and we'll see you soon.